Okay. You ready, Jane?
So many of my parents are kids.
Well, wait till you go to wait till you have the 80th birthday party.
What?
The 80th birthday party.
Good evening. Today is March 25th, 2014. This is the Board of Trustees regular meeting, number 2014-09. The time is 7:30 p.m. Please take the roll.
President Barry,
Here.
Trustee Olenichik,
Here?
Trustee Desmond, Trustee Carberry,
Here.
Trustee Vorder will not be here tonight, Trustee Strite,
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We're going to move on to public comments. Would Karen Krezak please come forward? You're speaking on rental properties in Oak Lawn. Hi, Karen. Are you an Oak Lawn resident?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
My address is 9831 South 52nd Avenue. My concerns today are with this new company that is called Invitational Homes, which is a rental company in Oak Lawn. My block has had 3 homes alone with these signs on them. I would like to know what benefit this is to Oak Lawn, and is it actually safe for Oak Lawn? Also, is there an ordinance to limit the company to buying more properties in Oak Lawn? And if there isn't, is there anything that we can do to prevent more properties being bought? I'd like to find out a little bit more information on this company.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Larry, I know you've had a few meetings with Invitation Homes. Can you take a minute and just address that?
I'd be more than happy
Thank
to,
you.
Mayor and Board of Trustees and homeowner. Invitation Homes is a national company. They've been in the market for some time. Their involvement in the Chicago area, there's over 2,000 units that they have purchased in the greater Chicago area. They purchase homes in Tinley Park, Orland Park, north side of Chicago, and in Oak Lawn. They own approximately 100 units, single-family units in the village of Oak Lawn. That is about their cap on their budget. The commitment and their target was to acquire those homes. Each home that they buy, and it's a fairly healthy market, usually in the area of $150,000 to $180,000. They put in an average of $35,000 in improvements. They have a very, very strict rental policy. They have shared that policy with the board. I've provided copies to each of the trustees and the mayor. We've met with their legal counsel, with their president, and with their property manager and Oak Lawn staff, so that they are very cognizant of our rules and regulations, that this is a family community, and that we intend to see them conduct their business in such a manner that's consistent with our community standards. I'm familiar with the signs you're referring to. Trustee Carberry and I had a discussion about them. We share some concerns about those signs, mostly the magnitude of the post in that, which is different than most for sale signs that you will see, or rental signs. So we'll be talking to them. I'm sure that Trustee Carberry, when his section of the agenda comes up, will be speaking on that item. There is one other company that also is buying single-family homes on a large-scale basis. That company is based in Tinley Park. They're a Southside family-owned company, unlike Invitation Homes, which is out of Dallas. And the second company, their family grew up in the South Holland area, and they have purchased mainly homes in the Southland area, including Homer Glen, Orland Park, etc. Now, they purchase everywhere from $1 million plus home to a home generally in the 125 to 185,000 range. They also have a target in Oak Lawn, and their target's around the 50 area. So they're not as big, they're not national, they're local. We met with them. The property manager, who's part of the family, is a graduate of Marist High School. Found them to be a very sharp and cognizant, again, of family standards and what Oak Lawn is about. Other than that, most of the purchasers and absentee owners of single-family homes are usually an owner who's bought another home, has moved, relocated. There may be upwards of 7 units where some folks have bought homes, but those are the only 2 big companies that I've bought homes. Invitation, and forgive me, I forget the name of the Tinley Park company, but it's a local company, and I'm sure. Pardon me?
Maybe Skyline?
No,
Mac.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Trustee Desmond. MAC, M-A-C-K, and that's short for, I believe, the name of the family is McDermott. It's a good Southside family.
Great. And any residents who have renters or homeowners, for that matter, who are being disruptive on their block or is in violation of any of our ordinances, we welcome them to call Village Hall, and we will be on it. So thank you very much. And that's the only public comment. Thank you, Larry. We're going to move on to the agenda. I'd like to call the Oak Lawn Chamber of Commerce up to the podium. We have the 2013 Coloring Book Contest winners with us tonight. I'm going to introduce Michelle Williams.
Hello, I'm Michelle Williams, the president of the Oak Lawn Chamber. Tonight, we will be here to announce the winners of like Dr. Berry said. Each year, the Oak Lawn Chamber collaborates with the Oak Lawn Fire Department, and in recent years, the Oak Lawn Police Department, to produce the Fire and Public Safety Coloring Book. The book is a teaching tool for the 4,000 kindergarten through 4th grade students in the community. The book is distributed by the Oak Lawn Fire Department each October during Fire Safety Week. The book features a number of drawings designed to teach children about the dangers of fire, talking to strangers, traffic safety, and more. In the center of the book is a blank page where students can demonstrate what they learned by entering a drawing into a coloring contest. The first place winners of the contest have their drawings proudly displayed on the cover of the following year's book. I want to recognize the Oak Lawn Community High School students that contributed the illustrations for the book. These students were recognized earlier this year at a special luncheon at the high school. The students are Catherine Garcia, Yara Ismail, Shelby Kohler, Rebecca McCowiak, Maria McLaughlin, and Amber Rourke. I would also like to thank the businesses who donated to the Fire Safety Coloring Book winners: 21st Century Chiropractic, Cusack Insurance Agency, First Midwest Bank, Marquette Bank, Oak Lawn Bank and Trust, Suburban Bank and Trust, and the Children's Museum, and to all the businesses who sponsored the book, as well as the Fire and Police Department for all of their support. Mayor Dr. Sandra Berry will present the winners with their certificates. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone involved for this wonderful tradition. The Chamber of Commerce does such a beautiful job with this, and I want to recognize one of our residents in the audience whose father kind of got this started. John Crivalone's father, Sal Crivalone, many years back got this started. I don't know how long ago that was, John, but 34 years ago, so it's very, very nice. So with no further ado, I'm going to announce the winners, okay? So, the 2013 Fire Safety Coloring Contest. I'm going to start with third place. Third place is second grade at St. Louis de Montfort. Haley Schultz, could you please come up? Congratulations, you're getting a $25 gift certificate sponsored by Suburban Bank and Trust. Congratulations. Very good.
And then second place is a fourth grader at St. Paul Lutheran School. Sydney Russell, would you please come up? Congratulations. You're getting a $25 gift certificate sponsored by Oaklawn Bank and Trust. Congratulations. Should we do a group shot, and should we let everyone stay here for one group shot, or do you want to do? Okay, downstairs. Okay, very good. Congratulations, Sydney. First place, third grade, Columbus Manor Elementary School, Maggie Ciara. Please come up. Congratulations, Maggie. You're getting a family membership to the Children's Museum in Oaklawn, sponsored by the Children's Museum, and a $25 gift certificate sponsored by First Midwest Bank. Thank you. Great job. Thank you. Congratulations. And now we have the Public Safety Coloring Contest. This one is sponsored by the Oaklawn Police Department. And I'm going to start with third place again. Carolina Stanchik is a third grader at Columbus Manor School. Please come on up, Carolina. Congratulations. You're getting a $25 gift certificate sponsored by 21st Century Chiropractic. Thank you. Great job. Very good. And our second place winner is in third grade at the Southside Baptist School. Diane Kirkpatrick, please come up. Congratulations, Diane. You're getting a $25 gift certificate sponsored by Cusack Insurance. Congratulations. Thank you. And last but not least, our first place winner is in third grade at St. Gerald's School. Miranda Ramirez, where are you? Hi, right up in front. Congratulations. Good job. Miranda's getting a family membership to the Children's Museum, and that's sponsored by the Children's Museum in Oaklawn, and a $25 gift certificate sponsored by Marquette Bank. Congratulations, and good job, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'd just like to let everyone know that there's a small reception downstairs for the winners and their family. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations and great job. Those go out to every child in our schools, and thank you, Chamber. I'd like to call Chief Murray up to the podium, please. Item 5 on our agenda is the Oaklawn Police Department Citizen Commendation.
We'll wait till the music stops and everybody gets their seat. Is Adam Kavanaugh here? Adam, come on up, please. Over my years as a police officer, I've attended several citizen meetings, neighborhood meetings set up by trustees and various concerned groups. And one of the things that always comes up in the conversation when we have these meetings is we hear stories that residents will tell us that occurred a week ago or a month ago, or something small, something minor, something that bothers them. And one of the common elements that happens and that we bring to their attention is they never call the police, and they for various reasons, right, wrong, or indifferent, they don't make that phone call. Tonight, we'd like to honor a resident who made that phone call, and we'd like to commend him for his duty. And I have a plaque, and I've kind of summarized it. It was there was some work by the police that I kind of shortened, but On January 4th, 2014, at 11:21 p.m., Oaklawn officers were dispatched to the 10100 block of Costner Avenue for a suspicious white minivan that local resident Adam Kavanaugh observed parked in the neighborhood. Mr. Kavanaugh was able to provide a complete description of the vehicle to the Oaklawn dispatch. The first officers to arrive located the vehicle and encountered a subject sleeping in the front passenger seat. The subject told officers that he had accompanied a friend who was supposedly visiting a girlfriend in the area. Officers followed footprints in the fresh snow leading from the driver's door of the vehicle to a vacant house under construction. The footprints led to a temporary door that had been damaged. Officers also heard noises coming from inside the home. Additional officers were summoned to the location and a perimeter was set up. An entry team was assembled. Officers entered the home and announced their office. Commands to any occupants to identify themselves were ignored. A search of the home revealed a male subject hiding within. The subject was in possession of property owned by the homeowner. Burglary tools brought to the location by the offender were also found. During the booking process, it was learned that the offender had a history of many arrests. More than half of those, or almost half of those, were felonies. He also had 2 warrants for his arrest. Thanks to the vigilance and sense of civic responsibility of resident Adam Kavanaugh, a career criminal was removed from the streets of Oaklawn. Adam Kavanaugh is most deserving of an Oaklawn Police Commendation. Like to say anything?
Oh, good.
Okay. Thank you, Adam, and thanks everybody who called the police and for those who are about to call the police, so thank you.
Congratulations and thank you very much. And kudos to seeing something and reporting it. We appreciate that. Next, we're going to swear in some fire department personnel who have been appointed by the Police and Fire Commission recently. Chief Shades, I'm going to call you up to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor, Board of Trustees, Madam Clerk, and Mr. Manager. Recently, the fire department experienced a retirement from the ranks of Deputy Chief, and because of that retirement, we had some promotions internally. So at this point, I'd like to call Scott Bowman, James McGeever, Chris Carpluck, and Mike Bell up to be sworn in.
I,
Scott Bowman,
having been promoted
having been promoted
to the rank of Assistant Fire Chief
to the rank of Assistant Fire Chief
in the Village of Oak Lawn, County of Cook,
in the Village of Oak Lawn, County of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Assistant Fire Chief
of Assistant Fire Chief
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And make it official. Okay, so you have one special pen. Okay. Same thing.
Scott.
Okay, ready? I,
I, James McGeever,
having been promoted
having been promoted
to the rank of Bureau Chief Training Safety
to the rank of Bureau Chief Training Safety
in the Village of Oak Lawn, County of Cook,
in the Village of Oak Lawn, County of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Bureau Chief Training Safety
of Bureau Chief Training Safety
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Chris?
Thank you, sir.
Same thing.
Okay.
Say aye, say your name. We're good. I,
I, Chris Carplett,
having been promoted
having been promoted
to the rank of Fire Lieutenant
to the rank of Fire Lieutenant
in the Village of Oak Lawn, County of Cook,
in the Village of Oak Lawn, County of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Fire Lieutenant
of Fire Lieutenant
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Thank you very much.
I did your name.
Thank you very much.
I,
I, Michael Bobel,
having been promoted
having been promoted
to the rank of Fire Engineer
to the rank of Fire Engineer
in the Village of Oak Lawn, County of Cook,
in the Village of Oak Lawn, the County of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Fire Engineer
of Fire Engineer
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Signing police will be after us. Okay. You might want to talk about this thing.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Very good. We'll do a group photo down here.
Third guy in was Bowman. Oh, then there's the other guy, the third guy in.
Okay, if I could have Trustee Carberry and Mayor Berry come down, please. Just, actually, if I could have you guys over here, please. Sure. You two over here. Scott, you over here as well. Yeah, there you go. All right, good evening, Honorable Mayor, Madam Clerk, Board of Trustees, and Mr. Manager. As you know, during the first 2 months of 2014, the Village of Oak Lawn Fire and Rescue Department experienced an unprecedented number of severe fires, with the month of February being the most deadly in the history of the fire department, with 6 fatalities. Although we're here tonight to recognize the heroic actions of a number of individuals, I don't want to forget about those 6 individuals that lost their lives. Honorable Mayor, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of those who lost their lives. Thank you. Madam Mayor and Clerk, Board of Trustees, and Mr. Manager, it is oftentimes commonplace that practices of dedication and excellence are observed, and sometimes it's easy to accept the dedication as excellence as the expected or the norm. We as administrators must not let these acts go unnoticed, as continued motivation for excellence can only be maintained by acknowledgement of these achievements. Such is the case with these individuals that I'm about to recognize this evening. They have gone above and beyond the call of duty, and I'm proud to recognize these individuals for their profound act of courage. As most of you know, on February 8th, 2014, the Oak Lawn Fire and Rescue Department was dispatched at 2:47 a.m. to 10,124 Lawrence Court for a reported house fire with people trapped inside. When fire personnel arrived, they found heavy fire venting from the living room window. Firefighters from Squad 1 and Engine 1 broke through the locked rear door to conduct a search for trapped victims. When Lieutenant Teddy Moran located the victim in the hallway, Lieutenant Moran, with assistance from the crew of Engine Number 1, removed that victim from the house to the care of the paramedics of Med Unit Number 1. The victim was revived and transported to Advocate Christ Hospital, where she remained for approximately 6 days when she succumbed to her injuries. Unfortunately, fire personnel located a second victim that was already deceased. Because of the quick actions of the fire personnel, one of those victims were able to live for 6 days, giving family members and friends an opportunity to spend time with her that they may not have if not for the quick actions of the fire personnel. Madam Mayor, Madam Clerk, Board of Trustees, and Mr. Manager, I stand before you this evening to recognize those individuals who acted with courage that early morning. I'd like to extend the presentations to these individuals that were there. As I call their name, I'd like for you to come forward, accept the presentation or the certificate, shake the hands of the mayor and Trustee Carberry, and then we'll move out and we'll continue on. Those on Engine Number 1, Lieutenant Jeff McCaslin. Thank you. We'll hold the applause until afterwards if we could. Engineer Richard Kapitanek, not sure he's not here this evening. Firefighter Don Mundo. Firefighter paramedic Jason Behrens. We have the paramedics on Med Unit Number 1, firefighter paramedic Chris Ward. And firefighter paramedic Mike Curran. We have the firefighters who are on Rescue Squad Number 1, Lieutenant Teddy Moran, who couldn't be with us this evening. Engineer Padula is not with us this evening as well. Also on Wednesday, February 26, 2014, the Oak Lawn Fire and Rescue Department, along with the Hometown Fire Department and Evergreen Park Fire Department, responded to 9809 South 51st Avenue for a reported house fire. Assistant Chief Scott Bowman, while on his way to work, heard the initial dispatch and arrived on the scene within seconds in an effort to render aid if needed. Assistant Chief Bowman noticed the garage door was open and entered where he encountered a man sitting in a vehicle. When Assistant Chief Bowman opened the car door, literally, and I want to make sure everybody understands this, a gun went past his face. Assistant Chief Bowman jerked back, thinking that he may be shot. However, as we know, the victim in the car took his own life. Given this horrific situation, Assistant Chief Bowman was able to call for police and continued to direct the incoming fire units until he was relieved. This happened in a matter of seconds, and anybody who would have experienced that horrific situation might have done things differently. But this man here continued to do his job in an excellent and professional manner, and I'm here to commend him. During the fire, firefighters found a second victim in a hallway and were able to pull him outside. When the fire grew too unsafe to look for other occupants, the firefighters exited the house and took a defensive stance. Both the roof and main level of the house collapsed into the basement before the fire was extinguished. During the overhaul stage of the fire, unfortunately, 2 more victims were found. These individuals, for 12 long hours, working in freezing temperatures and untenable conditions, did not stop. And they were not going to stop until every single family member was accounted for. And they did. So tonight, Mayor, Madam Clerk, Board of Trustees, and Mr. Manager, I'm here to honor those individuals who went above and beyond the call of duty to keep our citizens safe. And I'm going to recognize them at this point. From Evergreen Park Fire Department, we have Division Chief Tim Mullally, who's not here, Captain Shikalik, who's not here, Engineer Valalik, Firefighter Mike Nichols, and Firefighter Johnson. We have firefighters from the Hometown Fire Protection District. We have Chief John Hojak, Captain John Biederman, Firefighter Monahan, Firefighter Scarlick, and Firefighter John Russell. They were not able to be here this evening as well. We also had 2 fire investigators who were on the scene that provided valuable assistance to us in determining the fire calls that evening or that morning. We have Scott Stewart from the Evergreen Park Fire Department. And we have Robert Gasparis. I believe I said that correctly. Gaspers from the Bedford Park Fire Department. Thank you. We have the Oakland Fire Department fire investigation team. We have firefighter Chuck O'Donnell. We have firefighter Brian Gadika. We have firefighter paramedic Dan Rooney, firefighter Eric Corkavy, and firefighter paramedic Todd Stanford. They are not with us this evening, but we do like to recognize them as well. Of course, we have Assistant Chief Scott Bowman, who was the first person on the scene that evening or that morning, and we thank you for your life-saving actions. We have Bureau Chief James McGeever. We have our Bureau Chief of Emergency Medical Services, Gary Bittenhausen. We have Oakland Fire Inspector David Wheeler, who's not with us this evening. We have Battalion Chief Peter Lombardi, who was the incident commander that early morning, who's not with us. Battalion Chief Michael Jensen, who is not with us this evening. Then we have the crews from Engine Number 1. We have Captain Robert Wesselhoff. We have Lieutenant Jeff McCaslin. We have Engineer Mike Calatone, who's not with us. We have Engineer Kenny DeVault. We have Firefighter Don Mundo and Firefighter-Paramedic Jason Behrens. We have Oaklawn Med Unit Number 1, which is Firefighter-Paramedic Chris Ward, Firefighter-Paramedic Mike Curran, we have Firefighter-Paramedic Steve McKenna, who's not with us this evening, and we have Firefighter-Paramedic Peter Kraus. We have the fire crews from Engine Company Number 2, which is off of Ridgeland. We have Captain Brian Tiernan. We have Lieutenant William Roser. Lieutenant Ronald Snidewin, who's not with us this evening. Engineer Tim Radke. Engineer Scott McGreal. We have Engineer Scott Sillis, who's not with us this evening, and Firefighter-Paramedic Colson. We have the paramedics from Med Unit Number 2, Firefighter-Paramedic Dan Rooney, Firefighter-Paramedic Greg Wojak. We have Firefighter-Paramedic Paul Hensley. Firefighter-Paramedic Kevin Lynn. Is Kevin with us? Okay, Kevin is not with us. Then we have the crew from Quint 3, which is stationed right here. Lieutenant Mike McMillan. We have Engineer Michael Keene. Michael, okay. Engineer Paul Chicola. Firefighter helper. Firefighter Chuck O'Donnell. Firefighter Brian Gadaika, and Firefighter Walter O'Neill. Bless you. We have the crew from Squad 1, Captain Scott Sobel, Lieutenant Scott Allen, and Lieutenant Teddy Moran. And then we have the crew from Med 3, the paramedics from Med 3. Firefighter-Paramedic Mike Lowney. Firefighter-Paramedic Jim Yeager. Firefighter-Paramedic Kevin Grant. And Firefighter-Paramedic Chris Tribula, who's not with us this evening. There's a tradition in the fire service when someone does a heroic act that we recognize them with a Medal of Valor, Medal of Honor. And that doesn't happen very often because it's extenuating circumstances and situations that are really unusual that these are given out. But we have two this evening that we're going to give out One is to Assistant Chief Scott Bowman. We're issuing him the Medal of Honor for his outstanding service and life-saving actions for what I talked about earlier. And truly, after 31 years in the fire service, I have never once heard of an individual do that type of act and continue on with his actions. Truly, his actions are heroic, and I'm here to congratulate him. Earlier, I talked about the house fire on Lawrence Court where we had a trapped woman where we had a firefighter that pulled her out of the house. She was revived, transported to the hospital, and shortly after she succumbed to her injuries. Again, another heroic act. Teddy Moran, who's not here with us this evening, is the recipient of the Medal of Honor Award for his outstanding service and life-saving actions. I couldn't be more proud of Teddy. Thank you. You know, when we have these terrible events in any community, the community comes together. They come together with the police department, the fire department, and they support the citizens that, you know, experience this tragic event. That day on 51st Court, we had several individuals who, out of their generosity and their own money out of their pocket, brought food, opened up their homes for our firefighters to use the facilities, and assisted us with other things that I believe needs to be recognized. That's what brings a community together. These tragic events, but also other events, that good events that go on in this fine community. But I think as fire chief and as administrator, we have to recognize our citizens that go above and beyond. They didn't have to do that, but they did. One is Tony Calderon, who is the owner of Palermo's Restaurant. He supported the fire department bringing out pizzas. And again, we were there on 51st Court for 12 hours. The guys were hungry. We were cold. We had to use the facilities. Tony took it on himself to bring out pizzas and shared them with us. He's not here this evening, but we're going to recognize him as well. We have another neighbor on 51st Court, Thomas Reptany. I hope I said that correctly. Thomas was the next door neighbor to the house that caught on fire. He provided us with some information with video, photos, other information that helped us extinguish this fire and bring it to a conclusion. So we want to recognize you for your assistance and help. Thank you very much. One of our own firefighters' wife, Maureen Tribula, went to, I'm not sure what time it was, but she went to White Castles and spent quite a bit of her own money to bring food for our firefighters. And let me tell you, they appreciated those White Castles at about 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I want to recognize her, Maureen Tribula. She's not here this evening, but it's also her birthday. So we thank her for her help. We had a neighbor across the street from the fire scene on 51st Avenue, Candace Clark. She opened up her house to the fire and police personnel that were there to use the bathroom facilities. Again, we were there for 12 hours and couldn't leave. And I know that some of us made a mess of her floor with our boots and our clothes, but she said, don't worry about it. Do what you need to do, and we were able to use her facilities, and she opened up her house for us. So Candace Clark is another recipient. We appreciate her help for opening up her house for that tragic fire on 51st Avenue. You are here. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Thank you. I didn't think she was here. Thank you for your help. And the last one is Darlene Heilig. She is the mother of an Oaklawn police officer who also opened up her house to the fire and police personnel that day. So again, we wanted to congratulate her and extend this this special recognition to her as well. So she's not here with us. Okay, Honorable Mayor and Clerk, Mr. Manager and Board of Trustees, that concludes my presentation, and I thank you for the time. But if I could just have one more moment before you firefighters leave, and I want you guys to hear me loud and clear, that your fire chief is very proud of each and every one of you. Now, I'm going to repeat that so that there's no misunderstanding. Your fire chief is extremely proud of each and every one of you for what you do day in and day out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief, and thank you for all you do, all the honorees. Thank you very much. I'm going to let a minute or two pass while everyone gets settled again.
Is that where your cousin, did your nephew go away west?
Congratulations. Are you two related? I see a resemblance. Nice. Thank you.
Did you?
Congratulations again.
Chief, I really appreciate that you honored so many local heroes, and thank you very much for that. Item 8 on our agenda is conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have any conflict with any item on tonight's agenda that they'd like to disclose? Okay, hearing none, we're going to go on to item 9. This is a request to approve the 7th annual Running for Hope 5K Walk Run. This will happen Sunday, June 1st, 2014. May I have a motion, please, on item 9?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by Trustee Olenichek.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Desmond. Any discussion on item 9? Please take the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item 10 is a request to approve Running with the Bulldogs 5K Run Walk on September 21st, 2014. This benefits the Pediatric Oncology Treasure Chest Foundation. May I have a motion on item 10, please?
So moved.
Properly moved by Trustee Streit.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Olenichek. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to call for item 11, Mr. Matt Basil up to the podium. Matt, you're going to do a presentation on Tree City USA Award for the Village of Oak Lawn. And Matt, can you state your position with the village?
Sure. My name is Matt Basil. I'm the village forester here at the Village of Oak Lawn. And I just wanted to come here today to say that Mayor Burry, Manager Deachin, and Clerk Quinlan and the rest of the Board of Trustees is very proud that that Oak Lawn has qualified for Tree City USA for the year of 2013, which is a recognition of Oak Lawn's commitment to caring for and managing our urban forest. In 2013, we trimmed over 2,000 trees. We planted 325 trees. And unfortunately, we did have to remove 396 trees due to emerald ash borer and other issues that we have here in Oak Lawn. The village has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation since 1996. We've been recognized every year, so we're very proud of that, and we look forward to continuing that in the future. We would also like to proclaim April 25th, Friday of 2014, to celebrate as Arbor Day here in the village of Oak Lawn. So I brought that proclamation with us here today.
Very good.
Would you like me to read that, Mayor? or-
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Arbor Day Proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, and whereas Oak Lawn has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now, therefore, Dr. Sandra Burry, Village President of Oak Lawn, hereby proclaims Friday, April 25th, 2014 as Arbor Day in the Village of Oak Lawn. And we urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our village's urban forestry program, and further urge all citizens to plant trees and gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. Dated this 25th day of March 2014.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
Excellent.
And just to let you know, we already are planning on planting 172 trees this spring here in Oak Lawn, and we're currently taking applications for our next tree planting, which will take place in the fall. So thank you, everyone, for your support.
Thank you. Good job. Item 12 on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes for the special meeting minutes 2014-07 dated March 11th, 2014. May I have a motion on item 12, please?
Motion approved.
Properly moved by Trustee Carberry,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Desmond. Any discussion on item 12? Please take the roll.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Abstain.
Motion passes 401.
Item 13 on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes for the regular meeting minutes 2014-08 dated March 11th, 2014. May I have a motion on item 13?
Motion approved.
Okay, in stereo, I'm going to give it to Trustee Desmond and seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion on item 13? Please take the roll.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Abstain.
Motion passes 401.
Thank you. Item 14 is new business by village trustees. We're going to start in District 1. What's the news in District 1, Trustee Desmond?
Actually, I had a lot to talk about, and I want to apologise for being late. I was working on these and time ran away from me. But you know what, I think my comments can wait. I think tonight belonged to the fire department and to their residents. You know, their presence here, it was reassuring, and I think sometimes the work they do is lost and the mundane tasks of everyday life. And I think their value and professionalism is not realised and appreciated until we experience tragic events like we have seen in our community earlier this year. It seems the worst in us brings out the best in them, and I'm humbled to be in their presence. So thank you, and I want to give a big thanks to those men and women of the fire department.
Thank you.
I too believe that the fire department, and not just the fire department, but our police department and all the departments do a great job, but specifically when called upon, when you hear the great tragedy that Scott Bauerman, he's assistant chief now, faced. And if anybody's ever been by a live fire gun, just to hear that go off and then knowing that somebody took their life and continue on, is pretty compelling. So I too would like to thank the fire department for the work that they do. I am proud of each and every one of our firemen and the job that they do day in, day out. That concludes my report.
Thank you. And what positive things are happening in District, Trustee?
Oh, some great
Trustee Straight?
positive things, Mayor.
Okay.
I assure you. And I too would like to just express my gratitude to the fine men and women that serve our village here. We saw on display tonight what professionalism that we are represented by, and how fortunate we are and blessed that we know that in the face of tragedy that we have people that are doing everything they can and doing a great job to protect us. And I also want to acknowledge the fine work of our great Chief, George Sheets. Thank you, Chief. Now, at the end of last fall, our street sweepers went out to begin their final pass to clean up the leaves and other debris that littered our streets and curbs. But right when they went out, we were hit by the first snowstorm, so they really never quite got that job done. And as probably most of you know, that underneath that snow is a lot of leaves, debris, and other things. And so our street sweepers will be heading out shortly. As soon as we get up one morning and there isn't a dusting of snow on the ground, the sweepers will be back out to clean up the streets. I also want to mention that the yard waste pickup will resume soon too, which we need, and that'll resume on April 7th. And one of the biggest topics that I think we hear in the news today, for good reason, is the consideration of the extension of the income tax, the increase that was passed in 2011. As we all know now, that the General Assembly passed the largest tax increase in our state's history. And a couple of years ago, our taxes were increased by 66%. They went from 3% to 5%. And at that time, our legislators promised us that tax was temporary and that it would be reduced to 3.75% in January of 2015. Now we're starting to hear noise out of Springfield that the income tax may not sunset, and instead they may extend the tax or pass some combination of taxes. Springfield promised us that it would be temporary, and we should send a message to our legislators and to the leaders in Springfield that we want that promise kept. I am proposing that this board pass a resolution that can be delivered to our legislators as well as the governor and our legislative leaders. Extending the tax is counterproductive to sound fiscal management. It's bad for local businesses, and it's a burden to the citizens of Oak Lawn. We should stand up for Oak Lawn taxpayers who are overburdened by this 66% income tax increase. We should demand that the temporary tax in 2011 be allowed to sunset as promised. This tax will have collected $31 billion in additional tax dollars by the time the tax increase is scheduled to expire, and that money was supposed to end the backlog of bills and straighten out the state's pension mess. Of course, it didn't, as we know, and we hear that the state, of course, may be extending the tax. So I'm going to ask if the village attorney would prepare a resolution establishing this board's opposition to extending that tax. And is there any objection?
Have you spoken to anyone about this? I mean, is this not something that could have been discussed at the Committee of the Whole?
We could do that, certainly, yes. I'd be happy to discuss it at the Committee of the Whole.
Okay. So we'll put that on the agenda for then, and could you have a draft proclamation? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. And Trustee Quinlan, District 5.
Thank you. Actually, I just have a couple items. One, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed how poor the railroad tracks are at 108th and Central. So I just wanted to update you that we are on it. I've talked to Jack Gallagher and Larry. They're in the process of talking with CSX. I think they did a brief little patch job that is unacceptable to the village, and we are working with them on trying to get a date when they'll come out and properly repair it. So I do want residents to know that we are aware of the problem and we are trying to resolve it. The second item is the past couple weeks, actually, I've received several calls and a couple of emails from seniors, with some rumors, questions about what's going on with the senior center. So I would like to ask Mayor or our village manager at our next board meeting if we could have something prepared to at least give our seniors and residents an update as to what's really going on and how we're proceeding on that. That would be
Thanks, and
great.
if you'd care to forward any of those names to me, I'll call them personally, so they don't have to wait till then, but we could put that on the agenda for next time.
Okay. I'd like to know too.
Okay, you
So-
could call me too.
That'd be great. All right, and that's all.
We can add that to the meeting of the whole as well, huh?
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so we're gonna move on to trustee Carberry in District 6. Were you all done, trustee Quinlan?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I think that'd be a good I think it'd be a good idea to add that to the agenda. I want to mention one thing before I and I'm going to shorten up my comments as well. But the woman that came in, Larry, I don't know if anyone remembers the lady from. I actually have the picture of the sign she's talking about at 98th. Larry, that's the picture that I texted you. She had 50 exactly where she was talking about. Those signs are the for rent signs, and I'm hearing about it too. Not a few calls, but still, those signs are 6 feet tall. Some of them 7 feet tall, and the actual sign itself, and it extends. The sign extends from 6 feet to 7 feet high, and extends out to 4 feet on the other side. So that's something we're going to. We have a committee meeting next Thursday. I'm going to see if we can get it scheduled to get some legislation going, and we'll talk about it in the meeting in the whole as well. But the signs are too big. I mean, they're 3 foot by, the actual sign itself is 3 foot by 2 foot on a frame that's 7 foot by 4 foot. So we're going to see, we talked to Conley, and we're going to see what we can do to minimize that. Homeowners don't like to see a sign like that size. It's obnoxious, to put it in Terry Vorderer's words. So that's something I would like that we're going to talk about as well. And then congratulations to the firemen, and also, when that did happen, I was represented well by both Chief Sheets and Chief Murray. They represented the village well. I let them both know that then, but publicly I'll let you know again now. I thought they both represented us very well, and I thank them for that. That's it.
Thank you. Very good. Item 15, Village Manager's Report. Manager Deachin.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. I have a couple brief comments. First of all, I'd like to again congratulate the Board for their hard work and support for Stony Creek Promenade. I am extremely pleased to report today that staff met with the architect that has been hired and is on contract by Cooper's Hawk, and that firm is the Area Group, A-R-I-A, Area Group. They're based in Oak Park. They are the #1 restaurant architectural firm in the entire Chicago area. They're responsible for Ditka's in Oak Brook Terrace, for Tavern at the Park in downtown Chicago and Millennium Park, Eagle Ridge Resort, both the inn and the conference center. They have done the last 10 P.F. Chang restaurants. They have done the Maggiano's, McCormick and Schmick Seafood Restaurant. And now they're extremely excited and have been directed by the CEO of Cooper's Hawk to make the Oak Lawn Restaurant at Stony Creek Promenade distinctively Oak Lawn, unique. They are going to not put a cookie cutter restaurant on that site. They are really, really pleased with the site and anxious to begin their work in Oak Lawn. They will appear before our Architectural Design and Review Committee probably sometime in May, and they want to open the restaurant before Valentine's Day of 2015. So there's going to be a little competition with Mariano's and who opens first. So that's all good news, and congratulations to the board. Next item is also extremely good news. Thank you to your efforts regarding the water project. I received calls today from Mayor Tokarz from Chicago Ridge and also from the mayor of Palos Park. Both voted unanimously to approve the water agreement with the Oak Lawn Regional Water System. So that now brings New Lenox, Mokina, Oak Forest, Tinley Park, Orland Hills, Palos Park, Chicago Ridge, and Oak Lawn with unanimous votes, every community. So we have well over 50 elected officials that have all voted yes to move forward in a long-term water plan. I might add that Cooper's Hawk was extremely impressed and asked a lot of questions because, as you all know, water is used in the process of manufacturing wine, and they use a lot of water as a restaurateur, so they're pretty excited and have been reading very carefully the positive comments of this board and the mayor and welcome them to the community, and also the water agreement, which we were impressed with. Third item is, Chief, I do salute you. It is so important for us to recognize performance. We have a lot of unsung heroes in this community. One of them was your forester, your village forester, Matt, who was here. Matt is a young man who comes to us with an excellent education and background, also out of the Oak Park area, in managing urban forest and river forest, and some work in the Brookfield River area. And Matt has done a great job in this community in the short time he's here. He's had some very, very large shoes to fill, as you all know, and Heather Green. And Heather Green was a great tutor for Matt as he came here. And our important Oak Lawn urban forest is in good hands with that young man. Then I have, if I could ask Josh Jones to come to the podium for a second. You all have a copy of your trustee information letter with the announcement. Josh comes to Oak Lawn from Utah via Fort Collins, Colorado, and he was brought to Oak Lawn as what's called an ICMA fellow, a management fellow under the International City Management Program based in Washington, D.C. He has been with us for 2 years. Some of his projects that he's done an exemplary job working on, but he's quick to recognize the mayor and the board for the ability to work on these projects, and they would not be successful without the mayor and board's guidance. The 95th Street Corridor Plan, our Bike to Metro Guide, the Complete Streets Policy, which will be coming before the Public Works Committee and the board in the spring, the Jobs Program under the leadership of Trustee Desmond, website, new website launching and the design. Also our aggregation, again, an initiative of this board, very successful program helping taxpayers reduce the cost of their monthly utility bills. Also, as a matter of fact, Josh today was helping a senior who had some concerns in his office, quite vocal, and he was able to get her a small rebate, so thank you, Josh. Then also helping with Brian and Joanne in the budget process, and Pat O'Donnell, our treasurer, in doing a lot of analysis, and obviously, last but not least, but Clean Slate, which is the nonprofit entity founded by an Oak Lawn resident, Mr. Owens, and a program which served us well, not only at the groundbreaking for Mariano's, but also for this fall in the green cleanup, and that's a very fine program, and Josh was the liaison. So, as a manager, Josh, you're one of many young men and women that I've had the distinct honor of working with and seeing them move on in their careers across this country. Josh has been selected to be the new Assistant City Manager in Xenia, Ohio. Xenia is a suburb in the greater Dayton area. It's a community that has a wonderful downtown, a very robust local involved community, a lot of great projects, and it's an honor, Josh. I wish you and your family the very best. 2 years here working as a fellow, you've done an outstanding job, and again, I appreciate you listening to the mayor and the board involved in projects, and I wish you the best of professional advancement in your career, and more important, your wonderful wife and your young son who got his start here in Oak Lawn. I wish them all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. I just wanted to quickly thank Larry, my boss and manager, the wonderful staff that I've been able to work with here in Oak Lawn, the Board of Trustees, and many, many citizens who I've had the pleasure of helping and working with on various committees. I entered as a fellow, and 2 years later now I feel like I'm leaving very well versed in the various disciplines of city management, and I have all of you to thank for that. And I hope that I've been able to return that favor and make an impact in Oak Lawn and helping the residents. So thank you very much, and I'll miss you guys, but I hope to be in this neck of the woods again and say hello.
You're good.
Thank you. One last item, Mayor, if I could indulge the board. I had a wonderful senior who called me about 6 o'clock tonight, and she had a concern about fire prevention and safety, which was timely given the presentation tonight by Chief Sheets and his outstanding team at the Oak Lawn Fire Rescue Department. So I'm going to ask Lieutenant Leichel here, who heads our fire prevention and safety division, to come up here and talk a little bit about the ordinance, and particularly for multifamily units and condos, the importance of a lockbox, what that lockbox does, what the requirements are, because this young lady lives in a condominium development and she wanted to know what the law is. Jim?
Good evening. I am Jim Leichel. I am the Fire Prevention Bureau Chief. I work very closely with Fire Chief George Sheets, and under his direction, I am the village's fire code official. Regarding the rapid entry system, the key boxes, the purpose of the key box is so fire personnel can gain access within a structure to provide firefighting and life-saving activities. So as far as on commercial structures, we do require them when there's fire protection involved in the building, as fire alarm systems or sprinkler systems. As far as on the multifamily, that might be a concern. The reason it being is for the life-saving activities, the medical activities. When there is a diabetic or stroke or cardiac or respiratory emergency, when seconds truly count, having the rapid entry system, the key box, allows us to gain access to the patient more rapidly and begin treatment in a quick and efficient manner. Seconds truly count. If we do not have that key box, back in the day, if we went to a 12-unit multifamily structure, we would ring all 12 buzzers and hope someone would let us in. That's a very large breach of security and compromises the safety of everybody else in the building. This way, we can rapidly, quickly gain access to that unit door. If we can make voice contact, we have more time. We know the person, it may not be a life-saving call, so we might have more time to ladder a balcony or find another way in with minimal damage. If not, if we can't make voice contact, we are going to force entry and gain access to that patient as quickly as possible. That door will be forced. We will contact police, and this door will be secured. but it does not compromise the safety or security of anybody else in the structure. That is the reason behind it.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor and Board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, item 16 on the agenda is Resolution 140918. This is a resolution of the Village of Oak Lawn, Cook County, Illinois, authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement with certain affected taxing districts of the Cicero Gateway TIF District. May I have a motion on item 16, please?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by Trustee Desmond,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Olenichek. Any discussion on item 16?
Yes.
Yes, Trustee Quinlan.
Actually, a couple things. Number one, I just did want to point out that, while we had the resolution for this, we did not have the actual agreement to look at. And luckily, I was able to talk to our attorney and to Brian Hannigan about it. But and they answered all my questions, and I'm okay with it. But what I'm not okay with is I just think there's a conflict of interest here, with Bert Olson, who is now working for the village. He actively is representing someone else on this part of the agreement. In my opinion, that is a conflict of interest. So I think Mr. Olson needs to make a decision next time, or if this should ever happen again, either he's advocating for the village of Oak Lawn or District 218 or whoever. But this should never happen again. He shouldn't have been at that table, and that should have been recognized at that point, especially this board who is very concerned about conflict of interest. I just don't get the whole thing with Bert Olson, and I think that, it's a prime example why we should be looking somewhere else besides him.
Okay.
We cannot have any more conflicts of interest.
Just to disclose that he was not our TIF attorney on this case.
Doesn't matter. He works for the village. He should always be advocating for the village of Oak Lawn. And in this agreement, he was not. He was working for District 218. Okay, so that's a conflict, in my opinion. I don't know. Am I wrong here?
I would agree.
It is. And so I would just ask that from now on, he either is working for us or he declines to work for another and declines for working for another, community or school or park district, whatever. So,
Okay.
That's all I wanted to point out.
Okay, any other discussion?
I think it needs to be addressed. I mean, we should talk about it, discuss it, and say if it does happen again, how are we going to address it as a board?
Well, we could
That's
make
what's being thrown out here. Now,
yeah,
if
we
just
could make a
gonna-
policy.
Well, there definitely should be. It should not
Well,
happen.
he should have withdrawn. I mean, that's how it should have been. I mean, ethically, he should have.
I'm not saying he did anything unethical or illegal or
It's
or
how it
any of that.
appears.
But I do agree that he's working for Oak Lawn and he's also working on another side, if you will. So we should definitely address it. It's been brought up. We're either going to address it or same thing. It should be added to the meeting of the whole and discuss it and see if we should put something together, if everyone's in agreement.
I agree. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, let's take the vote, please.
Trustee Olenichek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Item 17 is a complaint to the ICC regarding ComEd. I'm going to turn the floor
Motion to approve?
over to Trustee Olenichek. We have a motion to approve,
Second.
and second by Trustee Desmond. Any discussion on this item?
Yeah, I would like to bring it up for discussion, but after listening to the discussion about bringing this to a board of a whole prior to it, I think that would be a good thing to vet it. But I just wanted to go over publicly what I've experienced as a trustee here, and specifically what's concerning me about our reliability with Commonwealth Edison. I got a email from a resident that was out of power for 15 hours in one of the neighborhoods that consistently has a problem with their power being out. On 3/12, her power went out. Commonwealth Edison did get the power back up after it being out, but they left her with one phase. And the instruction that they left the resident was, with the power coming on, only half the phase is working. At that time, the outlets were arcing, and Commonwealth Edison said, try not to use much of any power if you can. I went out to the resident's house and looked at exactly what Commonwealth Edison had done, and it concerned me because they actually took out the front end of the meter, which I have a picture of what that looks like. So I went back to my statistics, and I broke down just from 2011 to 2014. The Village of Oak Lawn has had a total of over 50 power outages, but 50 of them have been long-term. And when I say long-term, I'm not saying just the power goes on and then, or goes out and then comes back on, but our power outages stay out. Some of them were lasting a period of days. And it's not just in 2nd District, it's throughout pockets of the Village of Oak Lawn. And some residents, they don't see any power outages, but then I know, Carol, you're shaking, you have an area that it seems like every time the power goes out, and Bob, you've got some hot spots in your areas, and I know that, Mike, you have in your areas. But these are the statistics. We can expect in the last 3 years, and this is what we are experiencing, that in the month of January we average 2 outages. Month of February, 2 outages. Month of March, 2. But here's what really concerns me is what we're getting ready to go with, and this is something that I've preached to this board and to the residents, and they've seen it. Month of April, we will see 3 outages. Month of May, we will see 4. Month of June, it gets up to 6. The month of July, 12 outages in the period of time in those. August goes up to 8, and then we come back into September, which is 2, October 1, November 5, and December 3. Now, when I look at reliability and the definition of reliability, I can rely that these numbers are fact. This is stuff that Commonwealth Edison provided us with their own reliability report. We've experienced it as trustees in certain districts, and we've experienced them on certain circuits. And all I'm saying is we have met with Commonwealth Edison and talked with them. And yes, they put some money into our infrastructure. And over a year ago, we had the Rocky Raccoon that had the power surge on a night that we didn't have any issues that were going on. And when Commonwealth Edison came out, lo and behold, they'd said it was due to an animal, so we're free and clear. And we as a village board...
That happens quite often.
I understand, but we as a village board stood together, and they first, in meetings with citizens, told them that they weren't going to pay them anything. But then, after we stood together as a village board and as a community, Commonwealth Edison did make restitution. All I'm saying is, if you look at the districts, if you look at the circuits, and you look at the consistency, it is clear preponderance of evidence that we have an infrastructure issue. And I look at the definition of what the ICC puts out there.
Sorry to cut you off.
Trustee Desmond?
It would be great if we could all look at this information, and maybe we could have all this for our next committee of the whole.
Yeah, I'll put it in the next committee of the whole, but the final thing I just wanted to finish on is the Illinois Public Utility Act states that ComEd can be liable for actual damages to both private customers and municipalities when the following conditions are present. 30,000 customers have to be affected. Has to be subjected to a continuous outage lasting for 4 hours or more that results in actual damage suffered as a result of the outage. However, Commonwealth Edison will receive a waiver if they can show that the outage was a result of any one of the following reasons: unpreventable damage due to weather events or conditions, customer tampering, unpreventable damage due to civil or international unrest, or animals. I like that, civil and international unrest or animals put in the same line, or damage to equipment by a party other than a utility company. And I really think that the ICC, the best I could see is the last time that was updated was back in the 1950s or 60s, the best information I have, and I just want to make sure that we get that corrected. But I also think that the ICC needs to give us as residents a little bit more leverage with Commonwealth Edison. When you look at 30,000, we're talking about the same 200 to 500 people per district that are being affected with power outages. We need to address this. So I will I will make a motion to table this, or no, actually postpone this, and then would like to see this for the next committee of the whole, since we'll be talking about a lot of things.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Desmond. Okay, and Trustee Carberry.
Well, you know, I couldn't disagree more with this being on the agenda. Motioned or seconded as well. I think Commonwealth Edison, personally, professionally, politically, they're one of the best utility companies in the country. And what I fail to have is an understanding of why, what addresses. You gave me a couple addresses in my district, Trustee Olnichek, and I looked into it, and both were addressed. Both were addressed, and since 2000, the previous trustee addressed the matter with our rep, who everybody I've talked to has given Raven, the village manager, Trustee Desmond, Trustee Vorder that I talked to, and anyone else can weigh in. But they followed up on every request I've had, and I followed up with ComEd on the poor service that you told me they had. They did, but they fixed it. In 2015, I know you mentioned the polls to me before. You didn't mention that now. 2015, they plan on inspecting every poll, over 6,000 polls in Oakland. So I'm going to get very engaged in this because I want to be part of the solution. I do not think it warrants any kind of going after them with any kind of lawsuit or saying that they're not doing their job, because I think they're a great partner and I think they do a magnificent job. I don't know when you're talking about the outages, I'd like to know what caused them, what addresses, where they at. I mean, I've had outages in my house. It always seems to be my side goes out and the others don't. But I haven't got a call on it. It just hasn't happened. And I just think the rep we have is fantastic.
And just so you know, I'm not complaining about the rep.
Well,
I'm complaining about the inconsistency in the service that residents have.
Time, please. Trustee Carberry.
Providing power isn't easy. And it's a dangerous job too. And as far as animals go, yes, Markham Courthouse was out last year because of an outage, because of an animal. It happens. It's a dangerous job. It's you're going to have some cities, if you go out on the East West Coast, they've been out for months. I'll try to get some data. I asked for it, and I don't have it yet, but we'll be able to come with some data. You're going to find out. We have a pretty good thing going here, and I have gotten no signs. And if somebody else says, you know what, they don't follow up, or there's no action taken, it's all, they were doing quite a bit of work over there. You showed me, you were complimenting me, all the work they did on the tree trimming and everything else. I mean, for instance, if they're going to, take down every tree that's in the way of a wire in a backyard, we're going to be paying 5 times as much for electricity. And I don't think the Village of Oaklawn wants that. I think they follow up on our complaints, and I think it's unwarranted. I want to make it very clear that I don't support it whatsoever.
Trustee Olenichek.
And Trustee Carberry, I respect and appreciate your feelings on that, but Commonwealth Edison and their engineers will tell you that they do follow up. Their whole plan is they wait for something to fail. That's been my whole discussion since I've been a trustee, is preventative maintenance. When you take a look at the aging infrastructure, when you take a look at the common denominator of the same areas having the same problems, it is very, very obvious that there are issues within Commonwealth Edison on the infrastructure. They themselves went for a rate increase in front of Springfield and asked for it because they even said that our infrastructure is aging and needs to be fixed. So, I respect your opinion. I'm glad to hear that you feel that Commonwealth Edison is doing a great job. I'm glad that, your residents are getting taken care of. But I'm going to tell you, as a village, residents in 2nd District and other pockets in the Village of Oak Lawn aren't as lucky as what you're explaining and what you're seeing.
Well,
I never once said they don't follow up.
Please.
What I have said is that we have continuous issues with power in the same circuits in the same areas. They fix the problem in one area, but on that same circuit, it pops up in another area.
Yeah.
Okay, Trustee Carberry.
And Madam Mayor, I'm not going to belabor this. And another thing, I respect the fact that you're fighting for your residents, right? And that's a I understand what you're trying to accomplish. I just think we might have a different way of doing it. I think they get results. And the other thing that's going to happen, you're going to think they're going to try to make a repair, which isn't easy. You're talking about a massive company with, all over this with a lot of problems that happened from storms in 2011 or 12, which we had the massive storms. I think it was 11.
We watched people sit without power for 3 days while Commonwealth Edison was trying to put their plan together to take care of it.
Well, I understand.
And it was wrong.
One at a time, please.
The state of New York has been out.
Trustee
there's people who've been
Olenichek
out
has
with
the floor.
6 months.
Where are we discussing this?
Olenichek has the floor, please.
We already motioned to send this to the committee of the whole.
Okay.
Why are we debating it?
There was discussion, there was a motion and a second.
Madam Mayor,
Okay,
I'm debating it because
Trustee.
I want to make it clear that I wouldn't want to at all think that the Village of Oak Lawn would be not thinking Commonwealth Edison has been a great provider.
Okay, so we're going to take a vote on moving this to the committee of the whole and
Actually, postpone
postponing
it.
the vote today. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion before we call the vote? Let's call the vote.
Trustee Olenichek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Straight?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item 18, Village Clerk's Report. Jane, you have the floor.
Thank you. Disbursement Resolution Number 2014-06D. Approval of semi-monthly disbursements dated March 25th, 2014, in the amount of $926,721.23.
May I have a motion, please, on ordinance 1409? What am I doing here? Sorry. Disbursement Resolution 2014-06D. Properly moved by Trustee Quinlan.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Desmond. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Olenichek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Straight?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan? Motion passes. Couple more things, Mayor. On Saturday, March 29th, the Oak Lawn Chamber of Commerce and Johnson Phelps VFW Post 5220 will be sponsoring a blood drive from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and this will be held at the VFW at 9514 South 52nd Avenue, and donors will receive a free breakfast. And one more thing, Josh, I wish you the best of luck. I probably worked the closest with you and my staff, and you learned some interesting things up in that clerk's office, and thank you for all your assistance. Every day he helped us a lot, and the first day Josh started, walked into my office, and I think I insulted the poor guy. I said, Josh, you look like you're about 12. He almost died, but thank you. You're very, very knowledgeable, so we appreciate everything you did.
Thank you. I did. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's 14 now.
Poor guy. He grew up fast
He
here.
aged a lot.
Another month to look like
Excuse me. Item 19, Village President's Report. I hope my voice will hold out. 19A, Ordinance 1409-18, an ordinance amending Title III, Chapter 3, Sections 6 and 7 of the Oak Lawn Village Code pertaining to liquor license classifications and fees. May I have a motion on 19A, please?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by Trustee Desmond.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Olenichek. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Olenichek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Straight?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 19B, General Village Matters. I also want to congratulate Chief Sheets and Chief Murray on the professionalism of the men and women who make up our fire and police departments. It's been an exceedingly difficult winter, and I just want to thank you very much for all you do for our residents. It gives us great peace of mind. I want to talk a little bit about the Oaklawn Community High School. They had a cardiac screening recently, and they gave EKGs to every student who wanted them. These were completely free of charge for the students. Somewhere between 1,100 and 1,200 students had EKGs performed in one whirlwind of a day. Advocate Christ Medical Center kicked in about $12,000 to make this happen. And more importantly, more excitedly, I can report that volunteers from all over Chicagoland came and helped out this event, including family members of family who lost loved ones due to unexpected cardiac episodes. So very worthwhile cause. I want to thank all those volunteers. I want to thank the hospital for their support of that. It is a life-saving thing. I applaud it. It was a beautiful thing to see the whole community come together. Lastly, Josh, good luck to you, sir. You've seen it all, almost done it all, and no matter how crazy it gets in the executive offices there, if you say, Josh, I need this now, and he'll find a way to get it, and he'll do it with professionalism, and I wish you the very best. We're going to miss you very much, but I know you're on to a very bright future, and I know you've learned a lot here, so thank you. And with that, I'm going to move on to item 20, Executive Session 2014-02. This is just for the purpose of reviewing for approval minutes of closed meeting 2014-01, dated January 28th, 2014, and reviewing for the release of minutes of closed meetings from April 10th, 2008, June 14th, 2010, and all closed meeting minutes for 2011, 2012, and 2013. We are going to strike item 3 and 4. Is that correct from the agenda? Is that correct, Larry?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so these are executive session primarily just for items 1 and 2 on item 20. May I have a motion on item 21 and 2, please? To move into executive session.
Make a motion to move into executive session.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee
Second.
Quinlan, seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Please take the vote.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. So what we're going to do is just briefly clear the room for executive session. If students have things we have to sign, just bring them on up. And thank you.